groups are warning of mass starvation in Gaza. Major international agencies released a joint statement blaming Israel for restricting and delaying aid coming in. The Gaza Health Ministry says, which is run by Hamas, says a total of 111 people have died of hunger since the war started, including 10 people in the last 24 hours. Israel, though, denies limiting aid trucks coming into Gaza and says Hamas is stealing aid. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization is releasing new video of a strike on its warehouse in Deir al-Balah. The video filmed by staff shows damage to the warehouse, but the WHO says it's expanding its services in Gaza just 2 days later. Foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burridge has the latest on all that. Tom, a lot to keep track of here, but let's start with this joint statement from aid organizations. Many of them say their own staff members are now starving. How's Israel responding to that?
Well, Israel is pushing back hard right now, and Israel is making a big effort in the face of very heavy criticism around the world and increasing evidence that on the ground in Gaza right now, the conditions are potentially the worst they've ever been. I mean, many aid agencies are describing them as exactly that. And there's just been a briefing from an Israeli government spokesman I've been listening to, Diane, and he's pushing back and saying, quote, "There is no famine in Gaza," says the Israeli government. He is calling the crisis, the food crisis in Gaza, a man-made shortage engineered by Hamas. So they are putting the blame on Hamas. They are saying that 4,000 aid trucks from the UN got into Gaza between the 19th and 20th of July. That's Saturday through to Tuesday. And they are saying that 700 aid trucks of aid, worth of aid, is sitting inside Gaza right now, waiting for the UN to pick them up and distribute them. So they are saying that there is a bottleneck. The Israeli government is trying to shift some of the blame onto the UN itself for what they say is a bottleneck. I mean, I think that aid agencies, having spoken to them extensively throughout the war, would argue that part of the reason they can't just quickly get the aid once it goes into Gaza and distribute it very quickly is because of the conflict itself. I mean, the Israeli military currently controls about 80% of the Gaza Strip. There is fighting, there are strikes. It isn't a very straightforward thing. And it's also the sense of chaos on the ground in Gaza. What we're seeing are critical levels of malnutrition, according to aid agencies. More and more very graphic images of malnourished children, reports that there isn't enough baby formula, there isn't enough food, there aren't enough of the basic food substances. And this, I think you've got to realize, is a long-term picture. This hasn't just happened over the last few weeks. This is the result of not only 21 months of war, but also earlier in the year, Israel basically implemented a full blockade on Gaza and nothing got into the Gaza Strip for 11 weeks. And then after that, in late May, they put in this new distribution system called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, backed by the US. That has been highly controversial, and there's been chaos around those aid distribution sites, and aid agencies say that is part of the problem too. And I think what we really should underline right now is we're now the second consecutive day we're getting figures from the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, but aid agencies generally accept their figures and their information on casualties, and they are saying in the last 24 hours, 10 people have died of malnutrition-related illnesses, and that is after 15 in the previous 24 hours. So it does suggest that there is a trend right now. And again, this is a long-term picture. This has come after months and months of war and not enough aid getting into the Gaza Strip.
So let me stop that right there. So this is the work of God's chosen people, right? Look at this, right? Look at this, right? This is the work, the handiwork of God's chosen people. Which God? Right? Because everybody has a God, I guess, right? Like you got the gods of Egypt, the Egyptian gods, you know what I mean? The Judeo-Christian gods. You got, the god of the Norse gods, right? The Celtic gods, the Greek gods. So I guess they are God's chosen people. The question would be, what God does that? I don't know. Would Satan be considered, the Antichrist be considered a God for some people? I mean, I'm not that smart. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. Which God? The handiwork of God's chosen people. Right? God gave them this land 2,000 years ago. But the starving baby you see is indigenous to that land, and is one of the people that was there 2,000 years ago, descends from those people. The people that starving the baby that you're looking at on your screen came from Ukraine and Russia and Poland and New York and England and Germany and France and Lithuania. Right? That's where they descend from. They're just some religious converts. So I'm just saying, with God. I mean, this is all facts. And so, right, what you looking at is a fucking atrocity being brought to you by, I believe them bombs is all U.S. made weaponry. Them bullets and them bombs, right? All U.S. made weaponry. You know, and so this is disgusting and degenerate. It has to be the handiwork of Satan. Revelations 2:9, right? What does it say? It said, there shall be a false Jew who is really of the synagogue of Satan. That's a revelation of a future prophecy from John of Patmos in the Bible. For all you Bible pounding, Bible thumping motherfuckers, right? Disgusting. The false Jew is the synagogue of Satan. Well, that looks to me, when I look at that picture, and you know what I mean? I don't think the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I think of Satan, the Antichrist. I'm just saying, me personally. When I look at this, when I see the destruction, the apocalyptic bombing, when I see people that's starving, carrying a starving baby to a food truck, and then they machine gun them, the starving baby and the people carrying the baby, and they claim it was a terrorist hiding behind a starving baby. I don't see the work of any God that I would recognize. I see the work of Satan, the Antichrist. So it makes me wonder, what kind of God do these people have? You know what I'm saying? It just makes me wonder, like what kind of God do these people have that does this kind of thing to, starves babies and then shoots starving babies and parents, and bombs them, bombs and shoots starving people that can't defend themselves, obviously, right? Here's people that can't fucking defend themselves. I mean, sure, Hamas is doing wild shit, but for the most part, they ain't got no army. If they could, then Tel Aviv would look like Gaza. So basically, it's a band of guerrilla warriors against a conventional army that's not attacking the guerrilla fighters, but attacking the civilians to try to get the guerrilla fighters to stop fighting. That's a war crime. But I mean, these people never saw, in the United States and Israel, never saw a war crime they didn't like. Particularly when it's against people that they consider non-white. They never seen a war crime they didn't like. Whether it was slavery, colonization, genocide. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, you in the last days and the final throes before all out World War III. You might as well listen to the truth or tell the truth, hear the truth, right? I mean, if you're a scumbag, just be like, yo, I'm a scumbag, we're going to get it on. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to act like it's the mass have come off at this point, right? I mean, I would think there's no use of pretending you somebody you not, right? For real, you might as well admit what you are at this point. And I mean, if you support and you part of people that's corralling 2 million people who don't have a conventional army, bombing them and starving them to death, I already know who you are, right? I wouldn't need the Bible to tell me that you are of the synagogue of Satan. You're a citizen of Satan's church. You are a spawn of Satan. I wouldn't need the Bible to tell me that. I could just look at these pictures, and if I never heard Satan or the Antichrist, I would know that, you know, I would have a name for it. It wouldn't be that, but I would know who you are and what you are. You could call it whatever you want. Just watching you, you know, decimate a defenseless population because of some guerrilla fighters in that population. So, but you didn't have to do that. But watching you decimate a whole population of hundreds of thousands of people, corral them, and then bomb them to smithereens, shoot the ones that's starving to death. I already know who you are. I know who you are, your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers, all of y'all. I know who every one of y'all is. I don't have to sit down and have a conversation with you. I don't have to hear you debate. You know what I mean? I don't have to listen to a debate. I know who you are. Nobody but a spawn of pure evil would do these kind of things. And these people have a lineage of evil. These white people, I don't give a fuck if they from Poland and claim they Jew, or they from France, right? And descend from slave owners in the United States. They all the same. You already know who they are. And you notice, ain't none of them trying to stop that shit. All they saying is, oh, this is terrible. Somebody needs to do something. Really? You motherfuckers got armies. Nuclear weapons. You're funding this. You're giving them money, giving them cover. Right? Looking the other way while they do this and just say, oh, that's terrible. Somebody needs to stop this. Hey, man, don't do that. And then behind the scenes, I guess y'all backslapping and laughing. I mean, which tells you everything you need to know about these people. I mean, like, people be like, oh, he's my friend. Like, people like Adam Sandler, I think he's a Zionist. You know what I'm saying? And different people. And you see these, like, black people piling around with them. Or in Congress, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck? Like, listen, I grew up on the street. It was dudes doing certain shit. You understand? I wouldn't hang around them. I'm not going to get into what they was doing. But some heinous shit. I've seen dudes do some fucked up shit to people. To the point where I'm very leery about hanging around them. You watch people do this wholesale to people, to other human beings, and then you talking about, this my colleague, this my ally. I stand with Israel. I stand with this. I support this. These are my friends. We disagree on this. Listen, motherfucker, if I watched you do some shit like that and support some shit like that, I would tell you, listen, lose my number, don't ever fucking call me again. I mean, this go for anybody in my family. They told me some shit like, yo, I support this kind of thing. Listen, lose my number. Don't fucking call me again, you loser. You're a fucking degenerate. I don't know what's wrong with you. But lose my number. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that would be like, you're asking me to, like, hang around and be buddies with somebody that, like, rape, kill children. You know, torture children or something. Like, listen, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, we can't hang out. We can't be buddies. We can't be friends. We can't see eye to eye. We can't, what they say, we disagree to disagree or some bullshit. What is it that we agree to disagree? We can't do none of that. Listen, you could do it, but don't ever talk to me again. You understand? It could be my best fucking friend in the world. It could be my mother. If I watched you torture and kill children wholesale, listen, we got nothing to talk about. For what the fuck are you doing? So anybody that would support something like that, listen, I want you to stay the fucking far away from me because you can get. I don't ever want to see your fucking face again. You're a fucking degenerate. You're a satanic, wicked, evil degenerate. You say, well, hey, I didn't do it. Yeah, but you hanging out with people that support that kind of thing. Which tells me everything I need to know about you. You see? It's like the Joker said, and it's true. He said, you people, your morals, your codes, it's a bad joke. Ready to be dropped at the first sign of trouble. You the type of motherfucker that, you know, with the right pressure, you people would eat each other. And that's true. If you hanging out with people that support certain things and all, that's why I said hanging around people that's doing certain things, supporting certain things, that tells me everything I need to know about you as an individual, spiritual, whatever. Like, you can't tell me nothing else. You know what I mean? You can't talk to me about anything. Matter of fact, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not fucking interested in nothing you got to say or nothing you got to offer. Period. We done. Dunzo. You finished out here. Let me explain. Nah, I'm good. You got no morals. You got no standards. You got nothing. You just a fucking, what's the word for it? You just a degenerate. That's the only thing I can say. You're a satanic, wicked degenerate. And you say, but I'm a nice guy. Yeah, well, nice guy. If you that fucking nice, you wouldn't be hanging out with the people you hanging out with. Or supporting the things that you do. If you that great. But I didn't do it. Yeah, but you're hanging around people that support that kind of thing. That's enough for me. Like I said, in the street. I mean, because in the street growing up, where I grew up at, if you stood, if you hung around certain dudes, like if dudes was robbing dudes, let's just use something, you know, was running around. They had robbing crews, right? The wolves. They run around, you know, preying on other dudes, drug dealers, whatever. If they was doing that and then you was caught hanging out with them, even if you say, yo, I don't fuck with them, but you know, man, you know, we grew up together. He cool. I see him sometime. You know what I mean? I was at the bar having a drink with him. Hey, listen, you probably shouldn't be hanging out with him. Bad things could happen to him, and they might happen to you. I mean, it ain't rocket science. So maybe you need to, you know, distance yourself from those people. Right? And I mean, that was just a lesson growing up in the street. And so, when I see people now in life, and you tell me, yo, I support this, I support that. I see you support some type of atrocities or people that you cool with people that support atrocities. That tells me I grew up with people, horrible people in the streets that would do fucked up things. And I knew that you shouldn't hang around those people. Why the fuck would I support anybody in life in general that does that kind of thing? It's no different just because, you know, you say, well, these people are, I don't know, God's chosen people, or this guy is a politician, or this guy is a plumber, or this guy is a, you know, Bell's bombing. It doesn't matter. Like Pac said, who do you believe in? I believe in God. Blessed is still breathing. Even though it's hard, that's who I believe in. You see? If you believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you know that these are not God's chosen people, and you know what's happening is a satanic degeneracy. I don't know, you know, it's a horror. It's a blood sacrifice to Satan. That's it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. There's no justification. You know, you can say this, listen, man, this is about, you know, a security operation, special military security operation, whatever. You notice you notice one thing about Putin, you don't see him doing that to them Ukrainians. Carpet bombing them and killing them and starving them to death and blotting off all the food. You notice that? Those two conflicts, even though no matter how bad you think Putin is, notice the difference in a security operation or whatever, right? Securing your borders or whatever, etc., etc. Self-defense and just totally like performing some kind of a racist Nazi killing spree and genocide on a population, on a captive population that can't get out. Who would do that? And then, moreover, who would justify it and I stand with Israel and all this shit? These people, you see these people doing and talking about voting for these, I wouldn't, people that vote for people that, like your politicians, people that vote, I wouldn't, I'm glad I don't vote. I'm glad I don't. This is disgusting. I would never want any connection or association with any of these people for the sake of my karma. I already got fucked up karma. I don't want nothing to do with these people at all. At all. I don't want to be associated with them on no kind of level. None whatsoever. Be like, you this, you that. Yeah, no, I'm not any of that. I'm independent. I don't associate with these people. You stand with this group that? No, I don't. I stand independently on my own. Me and God. Me and the Most High, that's who I stand with. I'm not associated in any way, consciously, spiritually, or whatever, with any of these people. Or any of the people that's associated with them. I don't give a fuck with my family or anybody. Listen, I may deal with you. I don't fuck with you. That's the big difference. That's a big difference, right? I don't fuck with you at all. I deal with you. I tolerate you, right? But I don't deal with and fuck with nobody that would condone or who would even associate themselves, as I was saying, with anybody that would be doing things like this or that would associate themselves with somebody that supports that kind of thing, right? We done so. Like, you have to draw a line in the sand. You got to draw a line in the sand, man. Either you riding with the Lord or you riding with Satan, the Antichrist. That's it. There is no gray area. There is no lesser of two evils. Look at this on your screen and you tell me there's a lesser of two evils. Both of them motherfuckers that you talking about is the lesser of two evils brought you what you looking at on your screen. Both of them. How is that less evil? I don't understand that. How do you get less evil out of that? Explain that shit to me, genius. It's just evil. In the end, as you can see, right, it just becomes evil. There is no less evil when you fucking with these people and these creatures. I'm going to rap on this, but I heard a guy, Lucas, he said, yeah, there's no karma. And I guess he said that because of the shit they're doing to people, right? When you look at what they're doing over there in Gaza, what they've done in the United States, what they've done, fill in the blanks, you say, well, there's no karma. I don't believe in karma. And I get that, right? I get people saying that. Particularly if you like black or if you live in Gaza, right? Or if you live in Iraq or Syria or wherever, you know what I mean? South America or Brazil in the ghetto, the favela. I get you saying there's no karma. I totally identify with that, right? I understand your rationale. If you're a student, particularly if you're a student of history, like me. But I'm a student of history and I believe in karma. That's why I don't fuck with these people like that. I'm not consciously, I don't get them any energy. I don't really fuck with them at all. None of them. Because I know who they are and what they are. But I believe in karma, right? And let me tell you something. What's about to happen to these people is going to be sci-fi world and beyond belief. That's all I don't know what else to tell you. It's like when you pull a rubber band back and you keep pulling it back and you keep pulling it back and you keep pulling it back. And when it snap back hard as fuck and pop the fuck out of you. These people are using a cult. The Iranians spoke about it. The reason why it seemed like they not getting their karma is because they've been using occult forces. They use RV, they use psychics, Minority Report type shit. They fucking with their leadership is aliens, right? The Antichrist. You know what I'm saying? They fucking with evil aliens, all this kind of shit. So it seemed like there is no karma, karma for them, because they front running the system, right? Plain and simple. They're using, psychic, all kinds of shit to front run a system. AI, computers, supercomputers, secret knowledge of history that they keep you from knowing, right? And so it seems like there is no karma for them. Listen, that shit has a lifespan. I don't care. It runs. I don't care how much you try to front run the system. And excuse me, they've been doing it for hundreds of years. Front running the karmic system for hundreds of years. It's almost over with. And what's going to happen to them is going to be biblical. And it has to be large, because that's what makes it a karmic, connection, and makes it, somebody say, God damn, that's biblical, of biblical proportions. You see, but if it was happening every day, or every 50 years, or every 20 years, then you couldn't say that. No, what's going to happen to them is the karma that they deserve is going to come to them. And it's going to be of biblical proportions. There will be no more front running it. The site is going to miss this one. No Minority Report on this one. The RV going to be off, right? Your alien overlords, maybe they get hit with a CME, knocks out some of their, circuitry or whatever. They invisible, but they get hit with a CME unexpectedly, even they didn't know, and it knocks out their ability to camouflage like the predator. Now you can see them. I'm just saying, right? And so, all of a sudden, the fake shit starts to fall apart. You understand? There's an old Buddhist saying, when the water drops out of a bucket, the bottom of a bucket, does it come out like drip, drip, drip? Like if you take a wooden bucket, and you knock the bottom out of it, does the water drip out, or does it come out like whoosh and all fall out at the same time? Which one is it? If you knock the bottom out of a bucket, it comes out all at the same time. Whoosh, it rushes out. The bottom of that bucket is going to get knocked out. And all the water is going to whoosh and flow out at the same time. All that karma, everything is going to come out all at the same time. Because You've used all of these occult methods to hold it back for so long. Now the debt is due. There's no getting around it. And let me tell you something. It's going to be sci-fi world. And it's going to be soon. Very, very soon. You're going to see in the next, my prediction is probably, but not my prediction, just my analysis, I'll say. They're going to go into an all-out war soon. And not long after that, it's going to go sci-fi world with UFOs and all that kind of shit. And aliens running around. And all hell breaking loose. It's going to be biblical. Because that situation is biblical and prophetic. And then you will say, okay, you will watch the suffering of some of these people. And you'll say, you know what? I believe in karma now. People like Lucas who said, I don't believe in karma. You know what he's going to say? He's going to be crying. I'm going to tell you something. He's going to watch these people, like he always talk about, the amazing Luke I watch, that he always talk about God's lineage of evil. He's going to watch these people like the ones in Israel who claim they God's chosen people. He's going to watch a lot of these people, the children of the slavers. He's going to watch them and he's going to start crying. He's going to cry for them. Because it's going to be so fucking bad in what's going to happen to them. He's going to be crying for them. Be like, God, make it stop. This is worse what they did to the kids in Gaza. Oh my God. Yeah. Literally. But you know what's going to happen? It's not going to stop. Because you've held back karmic retribution for so long with all these occult methods, right? With your psychics and your alien friends and all this bullshit, that now, that's it. The rubber band gonna snap back. Bang. And ain't gonna be no stopping it. It's just gonna be bang, 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 bang. Karma just hitting in ways that you people with a lack of imagination could never imagine. And you have no faith in prophecy, so that's not going to help you, right? You have no faith in prophecy. You think prophecy is not real, so even if what I'm saying is written in prophecy, there's no use in me talking about it. You think it's not real, it's a fairy tale, it's Santa Claus shit anyway. It's going to go sci-fi world. Which is just biblical, pretty much, as they say. And then it's going to be sad what's going to happen to them. It's going to be sad. Because you're going to be like, oh shit, they finally getting their karma. Be like, yeah, it's fucking sad. I got to look away. I can't look anymore. I can't believe this. I never thought I would see anything like this. Be like, yeah, I did. I don't know why you thought that. I knew it was going to happen. I saw it in dreams. I didn't want to believe it myself. I thought it was just a weird dream. But then I had to admit to myself that, no, it's just it's the end game, the end result of it, you know, of them getting their karma. So, but anyway, so yeah, man, all I can say is brace yourself, you know, because that karmic debt is gonna come due soon. You know, and especially watching shit like this, and then watching people just like act like it ain't happening, or act like they wouldn't do it to you. That's the thing, like, they'll do that shit to you. That's why a lot of black people are so compliant. Because they know they'll do the same thing to them in Baltimore, in Dallas, in Chicago, New York. They so compliant because they know they would round their ass up, bomb them, and machine gun their ass too if they got out of hand. That's why a lot of these Negroes, like, you know, they super compliant. Just FYI. You see? Why they so quick to sell their morals and their asshole out. So, anyway, on that note, I'm going to leave it there, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.